14.4 averages from frequency tables. Now, this is a recap. We've done this before. We did this last year. So hopefully, just with a quick bit of revision, you should be fine on this. So the idea is that we've got a whole bunch of data, and to keep the list down to a minimum, we can go and put it into a frequency table. So imagine we've gone and got a whole bunch of goals scored by Manchester United. So let's go and say all those goals were the goals scored by Manchester United in the last 20 games. Now, if that was just a list like that, how would we go about working out the mean, the median, and the mode, and all of that? So to work out the mean, remember to work out the mean, you would add all the numbers up and divide by the number of numbers. Well, when you add all of those numbers up, you get 42 goals. You would then divide that by the 20 games, and that would give you 2.1 goals per game. Okay, now that's the mean. The mode, remember mode means most often. So looking at that, we can see 0 goals were scored most often. That happened 5 times. So the mode would be 0. The range would be, remember the range is not an average, that's the biggest, take away the smallest. And the range here would be the most number of goals they ever scored, which is 8. Take away the least number of goals which they scored is 0. Now the one that we haven't got down here is the median. So I'm just going to add the median to this list. And again, we'll see what the lag is like. So I'm just writing median in below mean. Yeah, it's quite a lag. You can't see that yet, so but it will come through shortly. So the median means the middle one. Okay, so there it comes. It's coming through now. So we need to work out the middle goal scored. So just working my way in. So I'm going to take off the end ones, then take off the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. I'm just working my way into the middle. And you will see that we've got 2 numbers in the middle. They're both the same number, so that's the number we would take. If they were different, you would just take the midpoint between those 2 numbers. So the median number of goals scored was 2. So we know the answers are 2.1, 2, 0, and 8. Now, if we go and put this information into a frequency table, okay, so the slide will come through in a second. As I said, there's a bit of a lag. So if we were going to go and put that same information into a frequency table, the table would look like at the bottom. So in the first column, you would write down the number of goals that Manchester United sometimes scored. So that was either 0, 1, 2, or 3. So 0, 1, 2, or 3. Oh no, sorry, what am I talking about? 3, 4, or 8, excuse me. I didn't see the next line. So they either scored 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8. So that's the first column, the numbers of goals scored. There's no point putting in 5, 6, and 7 because they never scored that number of goals. Then the frequency is obviously how often that happened. How often do they score 0 goals? So they scored 0 goals on 5 occasions. Okay. They scored 1 goal on 4 occasions. They scored 2 goals on 3 occasions. They scored 3 goals on 4 occasions, and they scored 4 goals on 3 occasions, and the 8 goals on just that 1 occasion. Now, our skill is to be able to work out all those various averages and the range using the table. Okay, how would we work out the various answers that we know when we did it by a list? We don't want to have to go back to turning it into a list and working them out. We need to be able to work these out from the table itself. So let's just go and look at some of these, starting off with the easier ones. Okay. Now let's go and do the mode. Now we know the mode is 0. Okay. The mode is what happened most often. So to work out the mode, we simply look for the biggest frequency and go and see how many that relates to. So something happened 5 times. What happened 5 times? They scored 0 goals. So it's easy to work out the mode from the table. To work out the mode, just look for the biggest frequency and read across what happened in the left-hand column. So that's the easiest one of the lot. Okay. Now, what about the range? The range, remember, is biggest takeaway smallest. Well, that's obviously easy as well. That's the biggest number of goals they ever scored, which was 8. That's the smallest number of goals they scored, which was 0. So the range is just going to be 8 take away 0. So that's easy to work out from the table. So the range equals 8 take away 0, which is 8. So remember what we're doing here. We're saying that we haven't been given the list information. We've just been given the table. How would we work out the various bits and pieces from just the table? Now, let's move on to the mean now. Now, the mean, remember to work out the mean, we started off by working out the total number of goals. So how can we work out that they scored 42 goals from the table? Well, and 5 times they scored no goals. So 5 lots of 0 is 0. So you cross multiply, you do 5 times 0, and you get 5. On 4 occasions, they scored 1 goal. So that's 4 goals. 4 times 1 is 4. So that's 4 more goals. On 3 occasions, they scored 2 goals. So that's 6 goals. 3 twos is 6. 4 times they scored 3 goals. 3 times they scored 4 goals. And on 1 occasion, they scored 8 goals. You would then go and add up all of those goals, and that would give you the 42 goals. That would give you the 42 goals. Right, now how do we work out the mean? We then have to divide that by the number of games. Now the question might tell you that there are 20 games, but if it doesn't, you just add up all of those frequencies. Because there's 5 games, there's 5 games there, there's 4 games there, 3 games there, 4 games there, 3 games there, 1 game there. You go and add up all those games, you go and get the 20 games. So you do 42 divided by 20, because when you add all those numbers up, you will get 20, and that would also give you the 2.1 goals. Now, the median is the hardest one to work out. Remember the median one? The median means the middle number of goals. So we've got to find the middle match. Now, there are 20 matches. 20 divided by, or halving it, half of 20 is 10. So we really want to work out how many goals were scored in that 10th or that 11th match, okay? Because half of 20 is 10, so we want the one just after that. So we need to go and add up and see, wait till we get to the 10th match, okay? Wait till we get to the 10th match. So there's 5 games. We haven't got to the 10th match yet. There's another 4 games. So that's 9 games in total. We still haven't got to the 10th match. Our 10th match is in the next 3, okay? Whether it's the 10th or the 11th match, it is in the next 3. So our middle game is one of those games there. How many goals were scored in that match? 2 goals were scored in that match. So that's how we would work out the median. Now that's it. I'm only planning on us doing one example today because this is a recap. So I'm going to stop the recording now. I then want you to go over and complete the worksheet. Once I've stopped the recording, feel free to turn your camera on if you want so everybody can see you working away at the bottom, and feel free to unmute if you've got any questions. Okay, I will go and share my screen with the questions you're working on. I'll be keeping an eye on my second screen on how you're getting on with Dr. Frost. And as I said, if you get stuck, just unmute and just ask me to help you. You know, the recording will have stopped, but I will be here live for the whole of the lesson. Okay. So let me stop the recording.